Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. I'm Neha, your law faculty at iExamB's Legal Beat. Students, as you are already aware, मैंने एक सीरीज स्टार्ट किया है जिस सीरीज में मैं आपके साथ डिस्कस कर रही हूँ what all to study from the various and the law subjects if you are preparing and appearing for the various competitive law exams. So already इस सीरीज को हमने स्टार्ट किया है जहाँ पे कि मैंने आपके साथ कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स, कुछ एक्ट्स के important sections, areas को डिस्कस किया है which you need to focus on more in comparison to the others, क्योंकि मैंने आपको बार बार ये बताया है that chances of questions coming from those areas is more in comparison to the others. Now हो सकता है कि आप में से कुछ लोगों का मिस हो गया होगा उन वीडियोस को देखना. For that you need to go to the description of this particular video where you will get the link of all those videos and you can watch them. Apart from this, do remember to subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss on to any of these important videos which we are coming up with and various other contents and other things which we are regularly coming up on our Legal Week YouTube channel. So for that you need to subscribe to the channel, press on the bell icon so that you can stay tuned and stay updated. अगर आपको कोई भी questions हो, queries हो या आपको कोई भी clarification चाहिए with respect to any of the competitive exams, you can approach to us through the email ID which is displayed on the screen or you can call us on the given number. इसके अलावा आप हमारी वेबसाइट को भी विजिट कर सकते हो जहाँ पे कि आपको डिटेल इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएंगे with respect to the various exams. Now moving on to our today's discussion, in this particular video I'll be discussing about what to study from the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. So this is one of the new legislations which has come up and it is commonly known as the IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. तो आज हम देखेंगे कि Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code से वो कौन सी ऐसी चीजें हैं, sections हैं, concepts हैं जिन पे आपको ज्यादा ध्यान देना है. Over here I'll also tell you a good news that इस particular video के साथ मैं आपको प्रोवाइड कर रही हूँ कुछ क्वेश्चंस इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंकरप्सी कोड से रिलेटेड. सो इस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन में यू कैन गो एंड यू कैन फाइंड अ पीडीएफ. यू कैन डाउनलोड दैट पीडीएफ. इन दैट पीडीएफ यू विल फाइंड few questions related to IBC which you can attempt, you can solve and you can see how the questions actually come up in various competitive exams. So watch the video till the end and do remember to go to the description and download that particular question PDF which I am providing to you for a revision purpose and for having an idea of how the questions actually come in the exam. Now moving on to our discussion with respect to IBC. Over here first we'll be looking on to what IBC basically talks about. So IBC क्या है? Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. तो हमें नाम से ही पता चल रहा है कुछ ऐसे लॉज हैं, एस्पेक्ट्स हैं जिनको यहाँ पे कवर किया गया है जो कि इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंकरप्सी से रिलेटेड है. नाउ इट इज वन ऑफ द लॉज व्हिच इज रिलेटिंग टू व्हाट द रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ दीज insolvency and bankruptcy, the matters which are there in India, and that is basically to be done in a very comprehensive manner and in a time-bound manner because IBC, when it came into existence, before that also there were lot many legislations which were in existence which were dealing with the matters related to insolvency and bankruptcy. However, they were not considered to be sufficient. They were not providing the desired results with respect to the resolution of the matters of insolvency and bankruptcy. So this particular code was thought to bring into effect because it will be providing the resolution to these matters in a comprehensive and time-bound manner जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया. And so when you read the code, you will come to know that there are strict timelines which have been provided for the resolution of the matters because earlier legislations, there were a lot of legislations which were dealing with these matters and apart from that, उसके अलावा बहुत सारे authorities भी थे तो dealing with the matter. Now everything with respect to insolvency and bankruptcy code has been brought under one roof, that is the IBC, and so you can also hear that will refer IBC as an umbrella legislation or it is a one-stop destination for resolving all the insolvency and bankruptcy matters. Now, apart from this, the objective is to maximize the value of the assets of the corporate debtor so that to protect the interest of who's the stakeholders. Apart from that, it is also providing an institutional framework of what specialized bodies, and these specialized bodies, they are actually being vested with the power to see that the entire insolvency resolution process that has to be implemented in a very effective manner. They will be regulating that process and all the related aspects. So this is what all IBC is. Now we'll be moving ahead and we'll be discussing the various sections you have to specifically focus on. So part 1, that is providing certain important basic things with respect to the code, like section 2 is providing the applicability of the code and section 3 is providing for the definition. So now when you go to the part 2 that is talking about CIRP. It is the corporate insolvency resolution process. Okay, so you can see that the part 2 is dealing with insolvency resolution and liquidation of corporate persons. Now under that, what you all have to specifically focus on is the application of that particular part that is given under section 4. Then definitions हैं जो कि इस particular part पे जो कि deal कर रहा है insolvency and liquidation for corporate persons, उससे related definitions हैं. Now apart from that, section 6, if you see, it is talking about actually all those category of people who can go ahead and initiate this entire process of CIRP. And then 7 to 10 जो है आपका sections वो deal कर रहा है how those particular category of persons which have been mentioned under section 6 they can go ahead and proceed with the initiation of the entire process. Now section 11 mention करता है कि कौन से persons हैं जो कि entitled नहीं है application करने को with respect to initiating the process, that is also important. And section 12 आपका यहाँ बहुत important है. तो section 6 बहुत ज्यादा important है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो बताता है कि कौन कौन से वो category of people है जो initiate कर सकते हैं इस process को. section 12 इसलिए बहुत important है, मैं बोल रही हूँ, क्योंकि that is talking about the time limit for the completion of the process. अब हमने जब starting में देखा कि objective क्या था, तो insolvency and bankruptcy matters को resolve करना in a comprehensive way, we saw that. So that was one of the aspects. दूसरा क्या हमने देखा था, एक time bound manner में. So time limit is one of the important aspects of the code. So जब आप section 12 पढ़ रहे हो, आपको अच्छे से clear होना है. 13 and 14 is basically talking about the declaration of the moratorium and public announcement. तो यहाँ पे आपको ये सारे concepts clear होने चाहिए कि moratorium क्या है, when it begins, when it ends and all those aspects. Then there has to be the appointment and tenure of the interim resolution professional. So आपको उस interim resolution professional का appointment, tenure, duty ये सब पता होना चाहिए क्योंकि ये important aspects है and questions आते हैं इनमें से. So 16 and 18 आपने देख लिया important है. Then there is a committee of creditors which is also referred to as COC. Then 22 is talking about the appointment of resolution professional and then 25 is talking about the duties of the resolution professional. So these two are also important. And then comes the meeting of the committee of creditors. So what is a committee of creditors? With respect to it, the meetings and all when it has to be conducted. यहाँ पे अब आप एक और चीज देखो जो आपको ध्यान देना है, वो ये है कि पहले हमने मेंशन किया था interim resolution professional IRP and then मैंने मेंशन किया resolution professional. So when you are studying the code, you have to ensure that you are clear who are these professionals. So you have to be very clear who these professionals are. Who is an interim resolution professional? Who is a resolution professional? ये सब चीजें आपकी कॉन्सेप्ट जो है क्लियर होनी चाहिए. तो आपको यहाँ पे इसे ध्यान देके पढ़ना है. Next, if we talk about is preparation of the information memorandum, then submission of the resolution plan, approval of the resolution plan. So all these things which will be actually taking ahead the entire process, that is important. Then if we talk about the liquidation, so we have to be aware what insolvency is, then what bankruptcy is, then how the entire corporate insolvency resolution process will be taking place. Now, if that is not successful, the corporate debtor will end into a liquidation. So how this entire process of liquidation will be taking place, that you have to be clear. पहले process आपको पता हो, उसके पहले आपको इंश्योर करना है कि लिक्विडेशन क्या होता है ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. ठीक है, तभी तो उसके प्रोसेस को आप पता करोगे, जानोगे और समझ पाओगे. So after that, section 33 is important because it is talking about how the entire process can be initiated with respect to the liquidation. Then there has to be an appointment of liquidator, how the fee will be paid, what are his powers and duties. Then there is section 36 which is very important again because it is talking about the liquidation estate. So what is a liquidation estate? What is done with that? All those aspects you have to be aware of. Then 43 say you can see there are few things which have been covered, that is certain avoidable transactions. So preferential transactions, the relevant time with respect to them, then the undervalue transaction, extortionate transactions. So what are these type of transactions? When are the relevant period to be taken into account for these transactions? You have to be aware of that. Then transactions which are undertaken for defrauding the creditors. So 43 to 50 आपका पूरा avoidable transactions के बारे में है. Then how the distribution of the assets will be done, that is provided under section 53, and then it will finally be resulting into the dissolution of the corporate debt. So now moving ahead, you can see over here is PPIRP is what pre-packed insolvency resolution process. Again you have to be thorough with what PPIRP is. पहले हमने देखा CIRP, now it is PPIRP. So what is the difference between these two process? And since PPIRP is again a new addition, हमें पता है कोड एक नया legislation है, उसमें भी amendments आए हैं and through those amendments PPIRP is something which has been added. So why is it was brought, or what is PPIRP, how is it different from CIRP? All those aspects you have to be clear. अब इस particular process का भी जैसे हमने CIRP में देखा था कि how it has to be initiated and all those aspects. Same goes over here with little differences. So section 54A से ये start होता है जहाँ पे कि आप देखोगे कि कौन से corporate debtors eligible है इस particular process के लिए. Then duties क्या होंगे resolution professionals के before and during the initiation of the process. How the application for initiating the process will be taking place, that is there. Then 54D यहाँ पे again बहुत important है क्योंकि that is talking about the time limit within which the entire process has to be completed. Then यहाँ पे भी आप देख सकते हो declaration of moratorium and public announcement. Now list of claims, preliminary information memorandum with respect to that, the provisions you should be aware of. Then here also there is a committee of creditors with respect to that. Then termination of the PPIRP and then initiation of the CIRP. Further अगर हम देखेंगे यहाँ पे तो आपका आता है fast track CIRP and adjudicating authority कौन है corporate persons के लिए. Fast track CIRP की बात करेंगे तो again what is fast track corporate insolvency resolution process, to whom all it is applicable, that you have to be aware. What is the time period with respect to that, उसका आपको पता होना चाहिए. तो ये दो सेक्शन फास्ट ट्रैक में आपका सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. अगर हम एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी की बात करेंगे तो कौन है एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी कॉर्पोरेट पर्संस के लिए, कैसे अपील हो सकता है, अपीलेट अथॉरिटी कौन है, ये सारे आपको क्लियर होने चाहिए. एंड लास्टली सेक्शन 62 जो कि बात कर रहा है अपील्स टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. नाउ यू मस्ट बी हैविंग टू क्वेश्चंस. पहला तो यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसे सेक्शंस हैं जो कि आपको प्रोविजंस ले डाउन कर रहे हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द पेनल्टी. एंड सेकेंड इज द इंसॉल्वेंसी and bankruptcy matters related to the individuals. Now, I have not basically discussed any of the sections related to the penalty because you can go through them and study. Apart from that, if we talk about the insolvency and bankruptcy matters of the individual, why I have not discussed anything with respect to that is when you are preparing and appearing for the various competitive exams, then the questions will be basically focused on these areas of IBC which is related to the corporate persons and not of the individual. Since these exams are basically related mainly to the regulatory bodies or the banking sector and all or various other sectors, so that will basically not be having any implication with respect to the individual bankruptcy and insolvency. So उस चीज को अगर आप नहीं पढ़ते हो तो भी चलेगा, बट ये जो IBC के कुछ बेसिक चीजें हैं with respect to the insolvency and liquidation of the corporate person आपको थरो होना. So with this we end our today's discussion with respect to what to study from the insolvency and bankruptcy code. Do remember to subscribe to our channel, stay tuned and stay updated.